Namaste, children, and welcome back. I hope you all are fine, doing well, and staying safe at home, keeping good health. And we come to the next part of this chapter, our lifelines, air and water. In the previous class, we had discussed removal of insoluble impurities using sedimentation, decantation, or filtration. Now, today we will discuss removal of soluble impurities, impurities that dissolve in the water, and how do we remove them from water. Removing soluble impurities from water. The soluble impurities in water can be removed by evaporation and distillation methods. So, evaporation and distillation. These are the two methods we'll be learning about today. Common salt, otherwise called sodium chloride, is extracted from seawater by the process of evaporation under the sun. Let us perform an activity to understand this process. Activity 7. Aim to understand the process of obtaining salt from seawater by evaporation. Materials required: a shallow dish, salt water, and a Bunsen burner. You obviously will not have a Bunsen burner at home. You can try this on the gas stove in your kitchen also. Right, and I'll also be sending you videos of practical demonstrations again like last time, and there you will see that you can actually do it on the gas stove. The demonstration I'm sending you has been done on a gas stove. A procedure: set up the apparatus as shown in the picture. Basically, you need to have a dish in which you have the salt water and a heat source or a flame below that dish. Add salt water to the shallow dish and heat it till all the water evaporates. Observation: as the water evaporates, we can see salt getting deposited along the inner walls of the dish. So what happens is the water evaporates and goes away, and what is left behind is the salt in the dish. So, and actually the seawater is also converted into salt using this method only. There are huge fields are made around the sea, and this sea water is shunted into those fields and left to dry in the, we don't use any external other source of heat, we use the heat of the sun. It is allowed to dry in the sun, and ultimately all the water dries, and what is left behind is salt. But obviously that salt is not clean enough to be eaten directly, so all that salt is collected and sent to factories for further purification. Next process is distillation. Now the problem with evaporation process is that I get back the impurity, but I don't get back the water. Right? The water is lost into the atmosphere. I want my water also back. Then we will do a process called distillation. So basically the concept is very simple. My water, I boiled it. The vapors flew away. I lost them. What if I could trap those vapors and condense them and make them back into water? I'll get my water separate and my salt separate. So that is done through an apparatus called the distillation apparatus. Distillation is a process that can be used to separate a pure liquid from a mixture of liquids due to the difference in their boiling points. It can even be done to separate two different liquids, like I have a mixture of, let's say, alcohol and water. Then those two also can be separated where the boiling point is different. But here we will talk of as if there are salt impurities here. So the salt impurities will stay back here in this flask, and the clean water will come here in the other flask. The laboratory apparatus for distillation is shown below. So if I will discuss the apparatus for you, this is called a round bottom flask because the bottom is round shaped. So round bottom flask helps a more even distributed heating of the water. That is the reason why we use a round bottom flask. So this is a round bottom flask, and we have our impure or dirty water in this. This is called a Bunsen burner, or it could be any source of heat for the water to boil. This is clamped tightly so that no vapors can escape out. So the clamp is put and a thermometer is added to maintain a proper temperature so that this whole thing does not burst. If I see the temperatures are rising beyond 100 degrees, I can just reduce the flame of the Bunsen burner. Now what happens if you see there's a slit or an opening in the side of this jar? what happens is whatever vapors are formed, they are now forced to go through this path. There is no other way the vapors can go. They are forced to go through this path, and this is a डबल वॉल्ड ट्यूबिंग. ये अंदर वाली वॉल है और उसके चारों तरफ इट्स one on top of the other, something like concentric. एक के अंदर एक दो tubes होती हैं. So the inner tube, the vapors are passing through, and the outer tube you have cold water going in. See, this is a mistake here. This is water will go in from here and out from here. The simple reason, because if it is with gravity, the water will just flow out without cooling the tube. But since I'm putting in against gravity, it will slowly fill first and then go out from here. So that is why the cooling is better. So just they make one change. This will be cold water in and cold water out over here. Make this change in your book. So the cold water goes in and the cold water goes out. Because of this cooling, the water is constantly going in and going out. So it's constantly cooling this tube. The vapors inside this start condensing. They condense into water, back into water. And since this tube is kept at a tilt, see, it's slanting downwards, the water droplets which collect inside drip and finally fall out from here, and we put another beaker or a flask or anything underneath here to collect those droplets of water. So what I get here is pure water, and what is left behind here is the impurities or the dirt which were dissolved in the water. So the process involves the following steps. Impure water is heated in a round bottom flask. Water evaporates to form water vapor and the impurities are left behind. Water vapor passes through the condenser and cools down to form water, and pure water is collected in a separate container. See, so the water boils here, the vapors go from here, they are forced to pass through the condenser, they condense in the condenser, and finally droplets of water fall out from here and they are collected in a separate beaker or a container. Distilled water is considered to be the purest form of water as it does not contain any impurities. It is used in science laboratories, car batteries, and medicines to make medicines. So basically, so nothing is going there now. Everything stays back. Only water vapor is going up. The water vapor is condensing and coming out. So there is nothing else mixed in this water. It is the cleanest or the purest form of water. And distilled water is mainly used in science laboratories, in car batteries, because the batteries, you have to keep refilling the water on top. I don't know how many of you have noticed your father's cars. They will check, or even your inverter batteries, you keep checking. If the water level is low, you have to add more water into it. Now if it was normal tap water, there would be other chemicals mixed in it, and it will spoil the concentration or the chemical inside the battery and cause a problem. That is why we use distilled water only over there. And obviously to make medicines, they are very specific and scientifically done, so I don't want any impurities in my medicines. Now, there is one thing more which I want to discuss here. We say that distilled water is the purest form of water, but it is not advisable to drink distilled water on a daily basis. We should not drink distilled water on a daily basis. Now, what could be the reason behind this? Well, the answer is very simple. Because you have heard of deficiency diseases. We have done these before. Deficiency diseases which we get because minerals or some other materials are required. Like we have phosphorus, we have calcium, we have this, we have that. All these are the dissolved salts which are present in the normal water. And when we drink the water, these dissolved salts go into our body and they are doing the job of providing the required doses we need, because they're trace amounts. We need them in very trace amounts, small amounts. So if we have on a regular basis, we drink distilled water, we'll develop deficiency diseases. So even though it's the purest form of water, it is not advisable to drink on a daily basis. And that is why the bottled water you buy, it's called mineral water. It's called mineral water because minerals are added back into that water so that you don't get deficiency disease. Next comes the purification of drinking water. Now, basically, this is a very expensive process. Distillation is a very expensive process to clean water to make it fit for drinking. So we cannot have this method for our daily needs, because if you see one household itself uses 25 to 30 or maybe even 50 liters of buckets fulls of water, not even liters, bucketfuls. One bucket is about 10 liters. हम 500 600 700 लीटर दिन का पानी यूज करते हैं. We if we start purifying water by distillation for all these purposes, it becomes very expensive and it will be very difficult for us to survive. So we have to have some other, and also it is not advisable because I don't get my trace elements also out of it. So we have to think of other methods of purifying the water before the municipal corporation sends it to your homes, right? So purification of drinking water. Water purification is the process of removing germs and other harmful substances from water to make it fit for consumption. We want the water to be clean enough to drink, but we don't want to remove the trace elements also, and we want it to be cost effective also. At home, we can purify water by boiling it for about 10 minutes. It is the simplest way of purifying water. You take a pan full of water, put it on the gas for boiling. First, you get bubbles, side mein. After the bubbles, they become, we call it a rolling boil. Basically, when the water starts moving around, that is called a rolling boil. Right. So once it comes to a rolling boil, another 1 minute, boil it and then turn off the gas and just let it cool normally. This water is the safest for drinking. It will remove all the germs, and the water coming in the tap is clean enough for you to drink, but we are just bothered about the germs in it. So if we don't have any kind of purifier, we can just boil the water for 10 minutes and we can have that water. That was one of the simplest way of purifying water for drinking. Other methods are also there. First of all, we'll discuss how the municipal corporation purifies the water for you. Right? The drinking water that is supplied to our homes is first treated to make it fit for drinking. The following steps are used in the process. First of all, sedimentation. Water is collected in large tanks where a lot of impurities are removed by the process of sedimentation. Chemicals such as alum are added to increase the rate of sedimentation. You remember the other previous class when we were doing sedimentation, I told you about alum. Alum is nothing but a chemical which sticks to the impurity particles and makes the impurity particles stick to each other and also to alum, which makes them heavier and they settle down more quickly. So it increases the rate of sedimentation and it ensures that most of the impurities, insoluble ones, are settled down. So first the sedimentation takes place, then the decantation is done by just taking the water off from the sedimentation tanks and sending to a secondary tank, a next second tank. Next step is aeration. Aeration can be done before filtration or also after filtration also. These two steps are interchangeable. Aeration is a process in which the oxygen content of water is increased. What happens is now you have germs, you have other impurities also, okay, which are the dissolved ones. When you pass oxygen through water, the oxygen reacts with these things, and because of the reaction, they change into different substances which then separate out. So quite a bit of dirty smell you have sometimes in the water. You have some chemicals also there. So let's say for sodium chloride only. If I pass oxygen through sodium chloride, it will get oxidized and change into a chemical which no longer dissolves in water and it will start settling down. Right. So aeration ensures that other impurities, the soluble ones, get separated out or they react and they change into harmless forms. After that, there is a filtration process. After sedimentation, finer impurities are removed by the process of filtration. Now here the filtration is not done by filter paper. The filtration is done by sand beds, sand and gravel beds. Right? They will make layers of gravel and sand in a tank, and then through that they let the water pass through slowly. So what happens, the impurities get trapped in the spaces between the sand and gravel particles and clean water separates out. Once the clean water goes to a third tank, maybe a fourth tank, right? So filtration, the water goes to the next tank where chlorination is done. Chlorination is the process of adding chlorine to water to kill harmful germs found in water. Chlorination can be done at any point during the water purification process. Could be the first step, could be the last step, but generally the last step. Chlorination is generally the last step done. What happens? All the germs which are now left, they get killed by the chlorine gas which is passed through the water. And many a times when early morning around maybe 3:34 when you turn on the tap, sometimes you get the water slightly milky, and then you leave it for 2 minutes, it clears up, bubbles come out and the water clears up because some remnants of chlorine gas are still there. So they just let it stand for 2 minutes, the chlorine gas goes out and leaves your water clear and safe for drinking. And you also get chlorine tablets in the market. You know what? Everybody can't afford clean water. Let's say your maids are living in areas where they get hand pump water. Now, if they want to drink hand pump water, it could be dirty and they cannot boil. They don't have so much money that they can boil the water every day for themselves. So these chlorine tablets are very inexpensive. They cost around maybe 5 to 10 or 15 paise per tablet. And one tablet is enough for a 10-liter bucket. So what you have to do is just fill a 10-liter bucket, drop a chlorine tablet and cover your bucket and leave it for 10 minutes. That chlorine tablet dissolves and releases chlorine into the water, and the water gets cleaned, all the germs get killed, and then they can use that water for the normal purposes. Right, so chlorination can be done at home also. We don't need to do it because we get chlorinated water. And the purified water is then stored in huge tanks, and from those tanks it is sent to our homes by underground pipes. Generally, what happens is, okay, before we end today's class, one thing more I want to discuss. We use water purifiers at home. जब इतना पानी purify करके हमारे घर आ रहा है, then why do we need to use water purifiers at home? Because when the water is passing through the pipes from the waterworks to our homes, there can be leakage, there could be some infection entering the water, and we know that these pipes of our cities are so old. There could be leakages, there could be damages in the pipes, and we could be getting infected or dirty water. That is why we prefer to clean the water once again in our homes before we drink, right? So that's it for today. You will be getting written work also along with this work. You have to complete that. And with that, I think we come to the end of the chapter. And once we have our Google Meet class, you can have, if you have any doubts, we can discuss those also, right? So that's all for now. Thank you. Bye.